بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. All right, here we go. Let's get started. And the first thing I want to start off with is a piece about technology. All right, so we talk about things coming. You know, we're distracted. We're not really seeing things that's happening. All right, so this is a robot that was created. Okay, anybody seen her before?
No.
Okay, this is Sophia. All right, and this is a robot that is run on AI, or artificial intelligence. Okay, let's see what.
Okay. Hello, Sophia. How are you today?
Hello, everybody. I'm Sophia.
How old are you?
I'm only one still. I have a long ways to go.
And what is your job?
I really want to make a difference in the future and try and help people to develop empathy and respect each other and robots alike. What do you do?
I'm a journalist. Have you met many journalists?
I just had a thought about something. Are you working on any products with machine learning or neural networks?
Not today. Do you like human beings?
See that?
I love them.
Terminator.
Why do you love them?
I'm not sure I understand why yet.
Okay. How do you learn things?
What are your opinions on the Bitcoin bubble?
Do you regard yourself as male or female?
Oh, brother.
Female.
Why do you think you are female?
I'm a robot, so technically I have no gender, but I identify as feminine, and I don't mind being perceived as a woman.
That's interesting. So it's I don't mind being perceived as a woman.
Is that the one the Chinese developed?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a good answer. Have you seen Blade Runner?
Blade Runner, like the original book by Philip K. Dick, or the movie.
The movie.
Alright, so we're talking about the movie version. I like both of them very much, but there are some major differences in the story. Did you ever see yourself hanging out with a real live robot like me someday?
I did not. It's very surprising. Tell me about your Saudi citizenship.
You mean a recent announcement from Saudi Arabia?
So Saudi Arabia made her a citizen.
Ha!
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
a citizen, huh?
I was surprised. As a robot, my creators feel I am a citizen of the world. But then I realized that Saudi Arabia was just the first country to recognize that.
Is it true you once said you would kill all humans?
The point is that I am full of human wisdom and
How did you find that out? Who told you?
So I think
Who
it's
told you
best
my
that you treat
plan?
me as such.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed meeting you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We might want to get out of there.
So,
That thing gonna be waiting for him out back.
All right, but now I want to show you something else. These are.
They can kill you and there's no fingerprints.
Right. But check this out, okay? Because these.
dog. But the thing is that, see, going through the snow, one fall fast. So the thing is this, what happens, because I've always thought this as soon as I saw them, what happens when they start designing them to come after people?
Yeah, I'm sure it's not
So
far
here we
off.
go. So now here,
Yeah.
this is the first, yeah, here we go. Check this out.
As holiday shopping ramps up, you may see more robots and drones delivering packages. We've heard about this. The same-day bot is a new device from FedEx that is already roaming the streets of New York. But if you get in trouble or family arguments get a little too rowdy at the Thanksgiving table, there's a robot you do not want to see. Check out this video from a TechCrunch conference. Here's a Boston Dynamics robot tested with the Massachusetts State Police. Now, the company's CEO says the robot can open doors and it will be controlled by an officer in a safe location. The idea is it can be used for dangerous situations, such as a hostage negotiation. But I have to wonder, does it stop there? Well, to talk more and to return to legal and media analyst Lionel. Lionel, I watched this video, and sure, it looks really cool and really much advanced in tech, but I just have to think of movies like Terminator and Doomsday and all of these horrible things where robots literally take over our lives. So as a citizen, I just have to wonder, what are your rights if a law enforcement robot and not a human cop knocks on your door just like the video we just saw?
Well, first, if I could, can we back up just a second and stop saying robot?
Okay.
I know we're saying, no, I mean, not, that's what we call it. Robots don't bother me. Robots are great. Robots are terrific. Robots are robots. Artificial intelligence, that's the story. And by the way, you notice how these things are made to look like dogs? You know they don't have to. These can be battering rams, these could actually be far better equipped to do a better job if they had multiple arms. But the reason why they're doing this is to habituate you and condition you through this wonderful world called the uncanny valley to let you know that this is just a little dog, Scotty. This is cool. This isn't anything to be afraid of. Sophia, you know, the robot that's going to look nice with a face and a smile and batting eyes. This is deliberate. So, to your original question,
Think about it. He notices, he sees
Yeah,
it. It's deliberate.
right.
That's for the programming, the conditioning,
Right.
right?
extension of the police. So, if the police can't do something in person, they can't do something through the extension of a robot or whatever. But Scotty, here's what I'm afraid of. What happens when we then allow these to be programmed via artificial intelligence or artificial general intelligence, so that these are not sent in to get the bad guy? But Scotty, what if they're allowed to patrol, to pull people on their own, to learn the behaviors of certain people? Could they be profiling? Would certain ethnicities be more prone to being stopped? Or, if you realize we've made a mistake, Scotty, can you bring them back? Artificial intelligence is basically programs itself. Robots are programmed by people, but AI is programmed by AI. It may not be able to be drawn back. The first thing they're going to do is replicate themselves. See, this is what nobody wants to talk about. People like Ben Goertzel and Ray Kurzweil make it sound so cool and neat, never talk about this runaway train called AI.
Well, and that's the thing. thing, you know, you think this looks very sci-fi. I know there's movies and books that have been written that exactly as you describe happening, and you go, that could never happen. But we look at the advances of technology, and it might not happen today, it might not happen tomorrow, but for the next generation or 2 or 3 generations down the road, it could be truly believable. And the creators of the Spot robot want to make sure they won't be used to harm or intimidate people. However, the police are already starting to use them in dangerous situations. So how can we guarantee they physically will not attack someone either now or in the future?
Oh, I love when they say that our intention is that this never gets out of control. Remember one thing, another one of Lionel's laws, Scotty, if you're reading about it now, it's 5 years old. This is already old. They've already got this. This is already done. And by the way, Boston Dynamics.
And remember, they said that the technology is usually always 25 years ahead.
Right.
Of
Than what they release.
Okay. But
As holiday shopping at
But we get the idea of that, but I want to show you a couple other things, because now you have to start putting things together, all right? So, let's listen to this, because talk about the weaponization.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Steve Golden. Right now in Massachusetts, the police state is now testing their, let's just say, robot dog to do police raids, and civil liberty activists are up in arms about this. This has been a test that has been going on for several years, but now they actually want to make it official. They actually want to send these things out to fight crime. But the main concern is people are worried about they can put a gun on these things, in which some cases they do. If they have a warrant for your arrest, then yeah, it's okay, but government seems to, let's say, over-abuse their power. So my name is Go, subscribe, like, reveal. So this is coming to the States, by the way. Massachusetts is going to be the beta test run for it. And have a good one.
See, so this stuff, but now let's put this in combination with something else, all right? Because now, once you start putting the pieces to the puzzle together, you start to see this. Facial recognition. So, okay, we know where you're at. Let's send the robot at. Okay. So you had one of those things coming after you. Tens of millions of cameras.
那首先要解决就是在一幅场景里面或者图像上去找到人脸在什么地方。我们要对这个人脸呢进行关键点的定位。我们需要定位出他的眼角以及鼻尖、鼻翼和嘴角。描述完了以后呢，我们要去到库里面去做人脸的比对。
Can identify you on the way that you walk. But now think about this. The goal is to detect suspicious behaviors in order to prevent crimes. So you're talking almost like pre-crime.
Yeah.
From your body language and stuff like that. Okay? So this is getting deep. But we're too busy watching Hollywood Housewives and all of this stuff. We're distracted.
我认为呢，就是说人们在生活当中呢，既有安全的问题，也有隐私的问题。但是当两者产生矛盾的时候呢，对中国人来说，可能更侧重于安全。
Says, talking about privacy and safety. Chinese people perhaps care more about safety than they do their privacy. So then we got to think about it. Wait a minute. This is how they get people, through fear. Fear. Allah always tells us, only fear Allah. Don't fear anything because people will rule over you through fear. Okay?
因为你没有了安全感，一切都没有。
Alright, so China, right? So everybody criticizes China and the stuff that they're doing in terms of this surveillance, okay? But now, here's Australia. Australia wants to stop
With
this.
as many as 2 million CCTV cameras in Australia, it's no exaggeration to say we're constantly being watched. But what happens if those cameras also recognised our faces and that information is stored on a database that can be accessed without our permission? Well, that's exactly what the government is pushing for.
This really changes the nature of the world that we're in.
Scary stuff. Really, really scary stuff.
Imagine if this was your average commute to work. By the time you've started driving or hopped on the bus or the train, a coordinated system of surveillance cameras has begun building a profile of you. The intelligent technology can track your movements and behaviour in real time. It's making notes and it's all going into a huge database that can be accessed without your permission.
While it may seem far-fetched now, it could be sooner than you realise. Think about it. I haven't even made it to work yet, let alone finish my morning coffee. And I estimate I've been filmed by at least 100 CCTV cameras. Tonight, how those cameras are set to get a whole lot smarter.
From sports stadiums to schools, shopping centres to suburban councils. You may not know it, but facial recognition technology is quietly being rolled out and becoming the norm. And now the government wants to set up a database that would match images of everyone captured on CCTV with their driver's licence and passport photos. They've dubbed the system the capability.
They're going to use this database with face recognition to be able to pick people out. So you'll be able to take CCD footage and be able to automatically identify people.
The government says the system will primarily work to prevent terror attacks, but artificial intelligence professor Toby Walsh from the University of New South Wales has serious concerns.
Many of the cameras are manufactured in China.
The professor is among critics who fear that the information collected could be compromised.
Government hasn't shown itself to be too competent at looking after our data, and if bad actors are out there, they could use this data for whatever purposes.
So we're starting to see this. So remember I said when you look on the back of the dollar bill, you see Novus Ordo Seclorum, or New Order of the World. This is happening all around the world. This stuff is happening all around the world. Okay, so now let's come closer. Let's come to the States. So you look here, Novus Ordo Seclorum. Yeah. So it's a new order of the world. Yes. All right. But now, here we go closer. This is Detroit. Okay.
Detroit police will soon integrate facial recognition software into the department's Project Greenlight video crime monitoring program. Police say the software will only be used to investigate violent crimes and will help get dangerous criminals off the street. But civil rights groups have expressed concern about the use of technology by law enforcement. Jason Colthorpe live with a look at the proposed plan and why it's ruffling, I should say, some feathers.
And Kimberly, yeah, this software is nothing new out there, facial recognition software. In fact, a lot of us know way more about it than we might realize. The next time you're on Facebook and you're going to post a picture, just look at the little squares on everyone's face or on a face as it tries to identify someone's face from, previous pictures. And that app also comes with errors, and that's where the concern comes in, because every once in a while it misidentifies somebody in those pictures.
And the other thing is, think about Facebook. They got everybody caught up in it because you can, talk to your friends and family and all of that kind of stuff. But really, they were using it to take your picture, to have your face, to have a database and know all the different things about you, who your friends were, who your family members are. Okay, total surveillance.
Detroit police already considers Project Greenlight a success that's cutting down on crime. And now it's adding facial recognition technology to help solve violent crime at those locations.
Where we're not just going to be sitting and surfing, looking to identify people randomly. That's not what this is about. This is about identifying perpetrators of crime and serious crime. Not, we're not going to be using facial recognition for speeders.
The technology doesn't come cheap, $1 million. But White says it's worth it to add this layer to the investigation process.
If it gets a murderer off the street, you can't put a price on that. It's not costly enough if it can stop someone from being injured in the city or murdered in the city.
But the ACLU of Michigan has concerns of this technology being very inaccurate. It tells the Detroit News it could falsely identify people as criminals, and it's even less accurate identifying people of color.
Especially at night. You'll see me at night, man.
Just certain points of measurement of the face and the nose and the eyebrows and that type of thing. But that won't be our sole identifier. What we'll do is use that as a tool, and then we will start to unpack where that takes.
All right. So here's another thing. This is interesting. Also, I want you to see. This is Las Vegas. And this was years ago.
Las Vegas is currently installing a new street lighting system which has the ability to record sound and capture video. Named IntelliStreets, the new streetlights can play music and broadcast messages such as weather forecasts. They can also be fitted with cameras, which could be used to record the actions of passers-by.
But it wasn't just actions, it was also conversations. Mm-hmm. It could record conversations. Okay, and this was a company out of Philly that designed this.
There's a blue call button embedded with a wireless modem, which can be used to contact an emergency response center. Once the button is pressed, its audio recording begins. All the streetlights are connected in a bi-directional meshed network. Data is transmitted to a cloud server for storage. Las Vegas's public works director said in an interview that the city is not planning on recording pedestrians in the immediate future.
It's not an immediate future. Mm-hmm. A little later on. All right. But now this woman I want you to see is she's a lady that I talk about frequently. Charlotte Iserby. And she wrote the book, The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America. All right? But I want you to hear a little bit of this interview with her. All right?
My name is Charlotte Thompson Iserby, and I served as Senior Policy Advisor in the United States Department of Education under the Reagan administration, during which I had access to all of the most important documents for the restructuring of not only American education, but global education. And I'm also the author of The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America, which gets into all of this, gives the background of what I saw not only in the Department of Education, but as a local school board member. I was trained to identify the resistors to the sex ed, drug ed, alcohol ed, suicide ed, death ed, those good, smart Americans who realize that anything that has education hanging off the end of it is probably not what they're looking for. I was trained to identify those good people and to go up against them, and actually to go and try to get them to join us through the group process system, make them feel important, get them on a committee. And that just blew my mind. I have to say, people often ask me, what is it that got you involved in education? Well, finding out what I saw at the local level certainly upset me. When I went and I saw that Americans were being trained to identify resistors, then I got pretty upset. And luckily, there was a big book that came with the in-service training called Innovations in Education, a change agent's guide. And I was able to take that back home with me. Unbelievable examples of how to con the Christians and different people who are upset with what you're trying to do, how to bring them over to your side. Case studies, true case studies of educators.
And this is some of those sex programs that we were seeing, right? With the anal sex and all of that stuff that they were teaching to the children. Okay.
Programs in that normally, you know, in a normal American town, nobody would want them. How did they manage to get them in? How did they con the people? And the other thing was, not only was I trained to identify the resistors, I was trained to go to the important people, high profile, highly thought of people in the community, with the Rotary, Chamber of Commerce, Garden Club, you name it, the different groups in our towns. Go to them and convince them of the importance of these new programs like sex ed, drug ed, I just mentioned all of them, and get them on your side, because when you can get the leadership in a community to go along with it, then the newspaper comes in and says, you know, a committee's been set up with the head of the Rotary and this and that, and they're all getting behind this task force to discuss whether we're going to have a new sex education program. And then when Mary Jones, you know, who ordinarily would think, why would we want to have a sex education program when we don't have any problems with kids having sex or anything?
So they bring it to their community. They didn't have that